Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. And I appreciate that people are now saying, hey, wait, can you tell me further? Let me tell you further. We've already heard Chairman Moody, when he made the point that you're going to have an officer on the side of the road that's become judge, jury, and executioner, and they can take them to a point of entry and say, go back. As law enforcement, you will be shipping my witness out without the opportunity to collect witness. One, that's the first thing, that if you say that this applies to people who show up in a sane facility that I know Representative Howard was getting into, somebody that shows up for a physical sexual assault exam is rare. This is just another chilling impact. As somebody else early in the day, I think Representative Romero talked about the fact that the minute you say people who are not citizens don't get the protection of law enforcement, then they become targets and they become a higher victim population. So I can appreciate, we can talk about this all day long. Human trafficking are actually our domestic minors and a lot of our CPS kids, but of course there is an international population. So if we care about, as we keep saying, human trafficking, people being brought over, people being sexually assaulted, do you really want to tell them that when they show up for the SANE exam, that an officer that doesn't go through deportation can take them to a point of entry and say, leave? This violates all of the provisions that we already have in place to not only protect victims of sexual assault, but also under the federal provisions that protect them as victims of assault, because we want to encourage them to be here to be the witness against the rapist. So if you create where we have these bridges to have our witnesses show up against our rapist, and you create this massive cavern in this provision that says an officer absent of any other determination can just march you back to an entry. And I see some state reps on the Republican side that do this kind of work looking at me, because you get it, and you know I'm telling you the truth. You are going to create a circumstance of which you are, one, going to ship our witnesses out, and two, worse, keep them from showing up for a SANE exam that will just encourage perpetrators. If you're going to rape somebody, pick somebody that's not a citizen, because the state of Texas doesn't care about them anyway. That is literally what you're going to say. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I'm asking you, you know this bill is going to pass, but at the very least, this is the kind of amendment you ought to have the courage to cross over the line on and say, by God, I'm not going to create a safe haven for rapists by keeping women from showing up for SANE exams. Please vote for this amendment. This is a smart amendment for everything we say we care about women and human trafficking victims.